Captain Jinsu stood on the bridge of the Aurora's path, staring at the quiet darkness beyond the ship's forward window. Space looked peaceful, but he knew better. Peace in space was often a lie, a thin cover over hidden danger. He crossed his arms, thinking about the strange signals they had been receiving over the past 2 days. Hana, his first officer, walked up beside him. She had been studying the data nonstop, trying to see if there was a pattern. Her eyes were sharp even after hours without rest. "There is something unusual out there," she said softly. "It does not match any natural phenomenon we know." Jinsu nodded. "Probes?" "Maybe," Hannah replied. "But if they are probes, they are very good at hiding. They stay far from us, just at the edge of detection." Before Jinsu could answer, the sound of the door opening echoed through the bridge. Daewon, the ship's engineer, entered with a datapad tucked under his arm. His hair was messy, like he had been working around live engines again. "The engine core is stable," he said as he walked toward them. "But I also checked our sensor logs. Someone is watching us. I'm sure of it now." Jinsu looked between his 2 officers. They rarely agreed so quickly unless the situation was serious. "Whoever is watching us," he said, "they are careful. Almost too careful." He turned back to the window and let out a slow breath. Humans had made plenty of friends in space, but they had made enemies too. He hoped this was nothing more than a curious observer, but his instincts said otherwise. Far from the human ship, in the dark stretch between 2 star systems, a small Cathari scout vessel drifted silently. Its hull blended with the shadows, and its crew moved with calm precision. For weeks, they had monitored human space. For days, they had watched the Aurora's path. Inside the scout ship, Commander Tharek paced. His tall, thin frame cast a long shadow across the control room. His eyes were cold and focused. "So it is true," Tharek murmured, watching a live feed of the human vessel. "They have expanded further than we expected." A young Cathari technician turned from his console. "Commander, should we continue the observation?" Tharek paused. His claws tapped lightly against the arm of his chair. He knew the Dominion considered humans a growing threat. Their numbers increased every year, their technology advanced quickly, and they refused to bow to any foreign power. But the Dominion believed humans could be controlled. They believed humans were still weak. Tharek was not so sure. Before he could respond, the ship's alert chimed. The technician's fur bristled as he read the data. "Commander, we found something." "A beacon." Tharek raised an eyebrow. "A beacon? Out here?" "Yes, sir," the technician said. "It is very old, drifting, no active power source, but it still holds data." "Should I play it?" Tharek nodded. The recording began. The speaker was not human. It was some alien species Tharek did not recognize. The voice shook with terror. "If you receive this, do not approach human territory. Do not attack them. Do not provoke them. You cannot escape them. They do not stop. They do not forgive." The message repeated. The voice grew more desperate each time, filled with fear. Tharek listened quietly. His crew exchanged uneasy glances. "Perhaps this is a trick," one of his officers whispered. "Perhaps," Tharek said. But his mind was already racing. He had seen many species try to scare the Dominion. None had succeeded. Yet this message felt different. It felt like the last breath of someone who had seen something impossible. He ordered the beacon brought aboard. Back on the Aurora's path, Hannah tightened her grip on the edge of her console. Another strange signal pulsed through the ship's sensors. "It's closer this time," she said. "Whatever is watching us is testing our defenses." Jinsu leaned over her shoulder to stare at the data. "Can you track it?" "Not exactly," Hannah said, "but I can guess its movement. It is circling us, keeping distance." Daewon frowned. If they wanted to attack, they would have done it by now. So why follow us? Jinsu straightened. Because they are studying us. He walked to his command chair and sat down slowly. Raise the alert level. Quietly. I don't want to cause panic, but I want everyone ready. The crew followed his orders quickly. Every human on board could feel the tension rising. The Aurora's path continued its journey, unaware that a greater danger was growing nearby. On the Cathari scout ship, Tharek and his officers gathered around a table. A hologram of the human vessel floated in the air above it. This ship is only one of their exploration vessels, Tharek said. And yet its technology is impressive. Strong shields, good engines, adaptable weapons. One officer scoffed. But they are still only humans. Their lifespan is short. Their history is chaotic. Tharek lowered his voice. And that is what makes them dangerous. His eyes hardened. They build quickly. They learn quickly. They unite when threatened. If the Dominion underestimates them, we may face a crisis. His words unsettled the officers. The Dominion had never feared another species. But Tharek had seen enough to know humans were not ordinary. The technician approached again, holding the old beacon. Commander, we recovered more of its message. Tharek waved for him to continue. The recording crackled. They chased us, the voice whispered. Across stars. Across dark places where no one should go. They should not have been able to follow us. But they did. A cold silence filled the room. Tharek sighed deeply. We must report this. But before they could, a sudden alarm blared. The scout ship shook violently. Human ship has detected us. Impossible. Another officer cried. We were hidden. Tharek's eyes widened. No. They were watching us too. The Aurora's path had picked up the scout ship at last. Hana's voice came through the bridge speakers. I found it. It tried to cloak, but it left a small trail. I matched the pattern from earlier. Jinsu watched as the Cathari vessel appeared on their screens. Send a message. Something simple. What should I send? Hana asked. Jinsu thought for a moment. Tell them we know they are there. And we want to talk. The message transmitted. On the Cathari ship, Tharek listened to the human transmission. His officers panicked. They found us. They want contact. Commander, our mission was only observation. Tharek closed his eyes. He had a choice. Follow orders or follow instinct. Retreat, he said. We cannot reveal anything yet. The scout ship turned sharply, speeding into the dark. But even as they escaped, Tharek knew the humans would follow if they wanted to. On the Aurora's path, Jinsu watched the ship flee. They ran, Daewon said quietly. Jinsu nodded. Yes, and that means they fear us. Or fear something else involving us. He looked back into the endless dark. Something was coming. He could feel it. Something bigger than one scout ship. But he also knew one thing for certain. Humans did not run from danger. They faced it. And if someone threatened their people, humans would show a side of themselves no one ever forgot. The colony of New Harmony was peaceful most days. People walked through the small streets, children played near the gardens, and workers repaired machines or checked the power lines. It was a quiet world, far from danger, and most settlers believed they were safe. They trusted the distance between them and any possible threat. They trusted that no enemy would come this far. Seojin wiped sweat from his forehead as he carried a crate of supplies toward the central storage building. He liked simple work. It made his mind calm. He looked over at Mara, who was helping a few children plant new fruit trees. She always smiled when she worked with the kids. Her calm nature made everyone around her feel comforted. Hyunziak stood near the wide gate that marked the boundary of the colony. He was one of the few trained guards on the settlement. The colony did not have a real army. Just a few people with basic training and a few security drones. He often complained that the colony needed more protection, but most people told him he worried too much. But today, Hyun-seok felt uneasy. Something was wrong. The air was too still. The sky looked normal, but there was a strange feeling in his chest, like a quiet warning. He tapped his comm device. "Control, this is Hyun-seok at the gate. Are sensors working normally?" A voice answered. "Everything looks fine on our side. No abnormal readings." Hyun-seok frowned. Still, something feels off. Before the operator could answer, the ground trembled. Not a gentle shake. A strong, deep rumble that made dust fall from roofs and tools drop from workers' hands. Mira looked up sharply as the children screamed. Seojin dropped the crate he was carrying and ran toward them. A loud noise tore through the sky, followed by a flash of bright light, then another, and another. Hyun-seok's eyes widened. Impact. Signatures. We are under attack. Alarms blared across New Harmony. Red lights flashed on every building. People ran in panic as explosions hit the far edge of the colony. Fire burst into the air. Mira grabbed two small children and pulled them behind a low wall. "Stay down," she shouted, trying to keep her voice steady. Seojin hurried to help her. "What is happening?" Hyun-seok raised his rifle and shouted to the scattered guards. "Everyone take defensive positions. Get civilians into shelters now." But the attackers were already descending through the sky. Sleek, curved ships with sharp wings and glowing engines. Their metal shimmered with dark colors. The Cathari Dominion had arrived. New Harmony was an undefended colony. The Cathari knew this. They believed the attack would be quick and easy. They believed humans would run. They were wrong. Hyun-seok fired at the closest ship. His shots glanced off the ship's hull, but his courage made settlers rally around him. Security drones flew overhead, shooting bright beams of energy that forced two Cathari ships to pull back. Seojin helped Mira guide civilians to the underground shelters, carrying those who fell and shouting instructions to those who panicked. A Cathari soldier landed near the main square, tall and armored, holding a weapon that hummed with power. It aimed at a group of settlers. Hyun-seok yelled, "Take cover," and fired several rapid shots. His bullets struck the soldier's armor, not enough to kill, but enough to knock the creature off balance. The Cathari soldier hissed angrily and returned fire. A blast hit the ground, sending Hyun-seok rolling across the dirt. Seojin ran to him. "Are you okay?" Hyun-seok coughed, his vision blurry. "I'm fine. Help Mira. The shelters must be full before more of them land." Mira called out from behind a wall, "More ships incoming." Above the colony, the sky cracked with bright light. A strange rip formed in the air, as if someone had torn open space itself. It was not an attack. It was an arrival. The Aurora's path burst out of FTL, peering only a few thousand meters above the colony. Jin-soo stood firmly in the command center. "Hannah, shields up. Daewon, power weapons. We are going straight into the fight." The crew moved fast. There was no hesitation. Hannah's voice was steady as she reported, "Multiple Cathari ships detected. Their weapons are active. Civilians are in danger." "Then we don't wait," Jin-soo said. The human warship dove downward like a guardian descending from the sky. Its thrusters roared, and its weapons lit the air with blue fire. Daewon grinned as he locked onto targets. "Let's show them what humans can do." Energy beams shot from the ship, striking the Cathari vessels with precise, controlled force. One enemy ship exploded in midair. Another lost control and spiraled into a mountain. The rest scattered. Down below, the settlers looked up with relief and disbelief. "The Navy came," Seojin whispered. Hyun-Siak pushed himself to his feet. No, not the Navy. That's the Aurora's path. They came faster than anyone expected. On the ground near the shelters, Myra helped an injured man to safety. Hold on, she said softly. Help is here now. The fight was not over. Cathari soldiers advanced through the colony, but now they were nervous. They had not planned for a human warship. They had not planned for resistance this strong. Hana led a ground team deployed from the Aurora's path. She landed with several trained personnel. They moved quickly through the burning streets, firing precise shots and pulling civilians out of danger. Hana helped Mira and the children reach the final shelter. Stay inside, she said. We will protect you. Myra nodded, grateful but afraid. Be careful. Meanwhile, Daewon hacked into the Cathari frequency. His fingers flew across his console. I'm inside their system, he said, sending a loop through their drone network. One by one, Cathari drones froze, then slowly turned. Their targeting shifted. They're aiming at their own ships, Daewon said with a proud smile. The Cathari forces panicked as their own drones attacked them. 2 more ships crashed. Soldiers on the ground lost formation. Jin-Soo opened the ship's communication system. His voice spread across every channel. This is Captain Jin-Soo of the human vessel Aurora's Path. You attacked civilians. You will stand down now. The Cathari did not answer. They simply tried to flee. But humans did not let attackers escape easily. Human fighters launched from the Aurora's Path, chasing the retreating ships. The Cathari tried to cloak, but the human pilots tracked them using quick guesses, sharp instincts, and pure determination. Within minutes, only a few Cathari ships remained, running as fast as they could. Jin-Soo watched the enemy flee. Let them go. They will carry the message back to their command. The fires across New Harmony started to die down. Rescue workers moved through the streets. Hannah checked for survivors. Daewon helped repair the damaged systems. Seojin and Mira reunited with Hyun-Siak near the square. The colony was wounded, but still alive. Hana walked over to Jin-Soo as he stepped out of the ship. Captain, she said, the Cathari thought humans were weak. Jin-Soo looked at the burned buildings and the frightened but determined settlers. They were wrong. He watched the sky where the Cathari ships had fled. They will not forget what happened here. And if they come again, his voice grew firm. We will be ready. New Harmony had survived the first attack. But Jin-Soo knew this was only the beginning. Something larger was coming, and whoever tried to harm humans would soon understand a simple truth. Humans did not fear their enemies feared them. The smoke above New Harmony slowly faded as the fires were brought under control. People moved through the damaged streets with tired steps, helping one another, whispering to calm frightened children, and searching for anyone still trapped. The colony was hurt, but it had survived. The settlers knew they owed their survival to the quick arrival of the Aurora's Path. Jin-Soo walked through the ruins with a steady pace. He studied the burned buildings, collapsed walls, and scorched ground. His face stayed calm, but his eyes were sharp. He was not only looking at the damage, he was thinking about what it meant. The Cathari Dominion had made a mistake. A very big one. Hana stepped up beside him, brushing dust off her uniform. We counted the recovered debris. At least 7 Cathari ships were here. That was not a scouting mission. No, Jin-Soo said. It was an attack meant to send a message. Daewon joined them, carrying a small damaged device he had pulled from a crashed enemy drone. They thought we would panic. They thought we would fall apart before they even landed. He let out a humorless laugh. They have no idea how humans fight. Jin-Soo nodded. They attacked civilians. So now they will see how humans respond when someone threatens their people. As they spoke, Hyun-Siak walked toward them with a slight limp. Captain, thank you for coming. We thought this was the end. Jinsu shook his head. You and the settlers held out long enough for us to arrive. You bought more time than many soldiers could. Hyun Siak bowed his head at the compliment. What happens now? Jinsu answered in a quiet but firm voice. Now we show them our strength. While the captain formed his plan, the Cathari Dominion was already struggling to make sense of their defeat. Far away, a Cathari cruiser drifted into a hidden base inside a hollowed asteroid. The soldiers who survived the New Harmony attack walked off their damaged ship with shaken steps. Their armor was scratched and cracked. Their eyes were wide with fear. Commander Tharek waited for them. He had not led the colony attack himself, but he had watched from a distance through long-range reports. And what he saw had shocked even him. He approached the leader of the retreating squad. What happened? The Cathari soldier trembled. Humans. We thought the colony had no defense, but they fought back with no hesitation. They fought like they were born for battle. Tharek leaned closer. And the warship? The soldier took a shaky breath. It appeared out of FTL almost instantly. It moved fast. Its weapons were precise. Every shot hit us. And their ground teams? He shook his head. They did not fear us. They ran toward danger. They protected their people, even when it looked hopeless. Tharek growled softly. This matched the warning he had discovered on the ancient beacon. But no one in the Dominion believed the old messages. They believed humans were just noisy newcomers who grew too quickly. But seeing the fear in his soldiers' eyes made Tharek think again. Humans. He whispered. They're not like the others. Back on New Harmony, Hana walked into the temporary medical tent where survivors were being treated. Doctors moved from one person to another, working quickly. Mira sat beside two children, gently checking their bandages. Hana knelt beside her. Everyone is safe now, she said softly. Mira gave a tired smile. Thank you for coming when you did. If you had been even a little later. Hana shook her head. We would never let you face them alone. Nearby, Seojin approached with a worried look. Hana, Captain Jinzu wants you back on the ship. Hana stood. What's happening? He said we are moving soon. She nodded and hurried back. A short time later, the Aurora's path lifted off from New Harmony and headed into space. The crew returned to their stations. The mood was no longer defensive. It was focused, determined. Jinsu stood at the command center. We will track the Cathari forces that attacked the colony, he said to his officers. They will retreat to their base. We will follow their trail. Daewon raised an eyebrow. Directly into enemy territory? Yes, Jinsu said. They think humans are slow. They think we move like other species. They think we fear chasing them across hostile space. Hana finished his thought with a cold edge in her voice. We need to show them the truth. The ship accelerated into slipstream travel, following the faint energy scars left by the Cathari ships. The crew prepared for a long pursuit. Inside the enemy base, Tharek examined the ancient beacon once again. The scared voice echoed softly through the room. They chased us. We thought we escaped, but humans keep coming. They do not stop. A young officer entered. Commander, the Dominion Council wants your report. Tell them this, Tharek said sharply. If they continue this war, humans will not let us retreat. They will follow us until we break. The officer hesitated. Sir, the Council believes humans will fall once enough pressure is applied. Tharek's claws clicked on the metal table. They are fools. Before the officer could respond, alarms rang across the base. Commander, a human vessel has entered our sector. Tharek froze. Already? That is impossible. But it was true. The Aurora's path emerged from slipstream right outside the asteroid field. On the human ship, Jin-Soo watched the hologram of the asteroid. Hana, prepare the landing team. Daewon, scan for defenses. Daewon frowned at his screen. This base has heavy weapons. If we fly too close, they will fire. Jin-Soo nodded. Then we take a different approach. Hana led a small team into a drop shuttle. They flew low, weaving through the rocks and dust. The Cathari guns struggled to target them because the humans moved unpredictably quick turns. Sharp angles, sudden changes in direction. The Cathari soldiers, watching the screens, grew nervous. They move like they don't care about danger, one whispered. They aren't afraid to die. Another said. Tarek clenched his jaw. No, they are afraid. But they fight even when they are afraid. That is what makes them powerful. Hana's shuttle landed inside a narrow cave opening. The humans moved fast, slipping through shadows, disabling guards quietly, and advancing with calm control. Jin-Soo watched from the ship. Hana, your path is clear. Move to the main control center. Understood, she answered. The ground team pushed deeper into the base. Cathari guards tried to block their path, but the humans fought with fierce speed. Hana fired 2 precise shots that hit before the enemy even aimed. Another human soldier tackled a Cathari to protect a teammate from a blast. Within minutes, the humans reached the central command. Tarek stood waiting. He did not raise his weapon. Instead, he looked at Hana with a tired, defeated expression. You win, he said. I warned them not to provoke humans. Hana kept her weapon ready. You could have chosen peace. Tarek lowered his head. I tried. They did not listen. Outside the base, Jin-Soo sent a message to the remaining Cathari ships. Stand down. Your forces have been defeated. Do not attack again. The Cathari fleet withdrew quickly. They were afraid now. Deeply afraid. Hana signaled to the ship. The base is under our control. Jin-Soo allowed himself a slow breath. Good work. Bring the team home. As the shuttle carried Hana and her squad back to the Aurora's path, the entire crew felt the shift. This was no longer defense, no longer survival. This was the beginning of something larger. The Cathari Dominion had awakened humanity's wrath, and humanity was not finished yet. The Aurora's path moved through space with silent determination. It followed the fading energy trail left by the Cathari forces that escaped the asteroid base. None of the crew celebrated their victory. They knew this was only one step in a long road. The Cathari Dominion had attacked a human colony. Now they were running. And humans did not allow enemies to run far. Captain Jin-Soo stood at the center of the bridge. His face was calm, but his presence was steady like stone. The crew trusted him completely. He was not a man who made rushed choices. He made choices that carried weight. Distance to the retreating Cathari ships? He asked. Hana checked her screen. Their trail is getting weaker, but we can still follow. They are moving through a nebula to hide their path. They think the clouds will confuse our systems. Daewon smiled a little. That trick might work on someone else. Jin-Soo nodded. But not on us. We continue. The nebula ahead glowed with soft blue and green light. Dust swirled like waves inside the cloud. Some regions sparkled with static charges. Slipstream movement was not possible inside it. They would have to fly through carefully. Slow down, Jin-Soo ordered. We move in quietly. The ship entered the nebula. The sky outside the windows became a curtain of swirling colors. Visibility dropped. The scanners lost range. Any other vessel would turn back, but Jin-Soo trusted his crew. Hana narrowed her eyes. I see faint energy changes ahead. Very small. Like someone is trying to hide their engines. Daewon zoomed the readings. It's them. They are moving deeper inside, hoping we lose interest. Jinsu gave a firm nod. Send a message to the pursuit teams. Tell them to prepare. Far below in the lower decks, a team of human operatives gathered in the mission room. Yuna tied her hair back, checking her equipment. Her movements were precise, practiced, and calm. She had been in dangerous missions before, but this one felt different. Teeman adjusted his gloves, looking over the map of space displayed on the wall. This is a nebula chase. Their hiding spots will be many. Haijin checked the power levels on her compact rifle. Good. More places for them to run. More chances for us to catch them. Yuna gave a small grin. We do not need perfect visibility. We only need their direction. The pursuit teams stood ready. On the Cathari flagship, panic spread through the crew. Officers ran from one station to another. They are still behind us. One shouted. That is impossible, another answered. Humans cannot track movement in a nebula. But Commander Tharek was not surprised. This was exactly what he expected. He stared at the hologram showing the human ship slowly closing the distance. They are relentless, he whispered. The council should have listened. One terrified Cathari soldier pointed at the screen. Commander, what do we do? We cannot fight them alone. We run, Tharek said, and we hope their patience ends before our fuel runs out. But he knew humans did not give up. Not when their people had been hurt. The nebula soon gave way to a wide region filled with drifting asteroids. Some were tiny, like floating pebbles. Others were the size of mountains. Hana leaned forward. We are approaching an asteroid field. It is dense. Jinsu's voice stayed steady. Adjust the route. Do not lose the trail. The Aurora's path weaved between spinning rocks. Dust scraped lightly against the shields. The engines hummed as Daewon adjusted their power to avoid overheating. We have company, Hana said suddenly. 2 Cathari fighter ships burst from behind an asteroid, firing at them. Blue beams hit the shields, shaking the ship. Daewon activated the counterfire. Bright boys, aren't they? Trying to scare us. Jinsu raised a hand. Do not destroy them. Hana gave him a quick glance. You want them alive? Yes, Jinsu said. We chase them. Humans do not lose pursuit. The fighters tried to dodge, but the human pilots were faster. The pursuit teams launched smaller ships, each maneuvering sharply around asteroids. Yuna flew ahead in her craft. She locked onto the first fighter and forced it to change direction. Teeman and Haijin followed from behind, flanking the second fighter. The Cathari pilots panicked. Humans are surrounding us. One yelled, We cannot escape them. Another cried. The fighters tried to flee, but the humans cut off every path. They pushed the enemy ships toward a position where they could no longer run. Yuna sent a message. Return to your fleet. Lead us to them. The Cathari pilots hesitated. Haijin added, You have 2 choices. Run and be destroyed, or go home with us behind you. The fighters surrendered and sped back toward the main Cathari fleet. Jinsu smiled faintly. Good. Now we follow their own ships to the rest. The Aurora's path and the pursuit crafts moved together, sweeping through the asteroid field. The Cathari fleet soon came into view, a collection of transports, warships, and support vessels hiding behind a massive asteroid. Their commander, seeing the human forces arrive, shouted, All ships prepare for battle. But the humans did not attack immediately. They moved with slow, controlled precision, surrounding the fleet without firing. Teeman guided his small ship through the enemy formation, cutting them off. Haijin hovered near one transport, ensuring it could not slip away. Tharek watched the human maneuver with disbelief. They boxed us in, with only one ship as their lead? His officer swallowed nervously. Humans do not fight like us. No, Tharek said quietly. Humans fight with intention. Every action has meaning. Jinsu sent a message across all channels. This is Captain Jinsu of the Aurora's Path. You attacked our people. You ran, and you hid. But we have found you. There was silence across the Cathari ships. Jinsu continued. We do not seek your destruction. But we will not allow you to attack humans again. Drop your weapons. Power down your engines. Surrender peacefully. The Cathari crews looked at each other. Their faces were filled with fear. They had never seen humans pursue this far. They had never seen humans fight with such calm fury. One Cathari officer whispered, They will follow us anywhere. Another replied, The old warnings were true. Slowly, one ship powered down its weapons. Then another. Then the entire fleet. Hannah turned to Jinsu. They surrendered. Jinsu let out a slow breath. Good. Prepare boarding teams. Inside the Cathari flagship, Tharek waited with tense shoulders as human operatives entered. Yuna led the group, her expression calm but sharp. Tharek raised his hands. I will cooperate. Yuna nodded. Wise choice. Tharek's officer whispered to him. Will they kill us? Tharek shook his head. No. Humans are dangerous, but they do not destroy without reason. That is why they are feared. Yuna signaled her team to secure the ship. Teeman moved with smooth steps, checking corners. Hygiene guarded the entrance. As the Cathari crews were disarmed and escorted to holding areas. Jinsu spoke through the communication link. The Dominion thought humans would break. But humans do not break. His voice spread through every Cathari ship. They thought humans would stop. But humans do not stop when their people are harmed. A deep silence followed. We gave you a chance to retreat. You chose war. Now you will face the consequences. The Cathari fleet understood then why the ancient beacon had warned them. They understood why the voice in the message had been so. Afraid, humans did not forgive attacks on their families. They pursued their enemies across light years. They hunted those who threatened them. And when they arrived, there was nowhere left to run. The pursuit was over. But for the Dominion, the true fear was only beginning. The Cathari Dominion was falling apart from the inside, and everyone in the galaxy could see it. The soldiers who once marched with pride now moved with fear in their hearts. They whispered among themselves about the humans, about what had happened on New Harmony and every battlefield after. They had seen how humans fought, how humans kept coming no matter what stood in their way. Many of them now refused to take part in any more attacks. Some even begged their commanders to stop the war before it was too late. Inside the central command hall of the Dominion, the few remaining leaders sat around a long, dark table. Their faces were tense. Their scales shifted with stress. They replayed the ancient recording again and again. It was the same one found on the drifting beacon, the one that had warned all who found it to never attack the humans. Before this war, they had laughed at it. They had called it superstition. They had believed no species could be as dangerous as the message claimed. Now they knew the truth. Now they understood that the warning had come from a civilization that no longer existed, because it had pushed humans too far. One of the commanders, a thin Cathari with dull blue skin, leaned forward and spoke in a shaking voice. He said that they could not keep fighting. Their fleets were broken. Their armies had no strength. Their people lived in fear. If they continued, the humans would destroy the Dominion completely. Another commander agreed, saying that humans were not just strong. They were determined. They protected their own with a fire that no one could match. Outside the hall, the Cathari streets were full of confusion. Many Cathari civilians had heard news stories about human strike teams who had chased their military across nebulae and asteroid fields. Stories about how humans moved with a mix of emotion and reason that made them unpredictable. Stories about how humans never stopped until every danger was gone. Some Cathari wondered what the humans would do now. Would they come for the Dominion homeworld? Would they wipe them out for what they had done? No one knew, and fear settled over every home and every street not far from the Dominion. On a human command vessel, Captain Jinsu stood on the bridge and looked out into the stars. The war had been long, and he had seen many things he wished he had not. He had seen brave humans stand together in the darkest moments. He had seen innocent lives taken by the Dominion attack, and he had seen his own crew push themselves far beyond normal limits to save others. Beside him stood Hana, who watched the navigation screens with calm focus. She had fought on the ground and saved many civilians on New Harmony. She carried the weight of those memories, but she did not let it break her. Daewon worked at the console nearby, checking new reports from human forces who were watching the Dominion retreat. A communication alert sounded across the bridge. Jinsu stepped forward and accepted the message. It was from the Dominion leaders. Their voices were defeated. They asked for a ceasefire. They said they wanted to end the conflict. They said they finally understood the warning they had ignored, and they did not want their people to suffer any longer. Jinsu listened carefully. He did not speak right away. When he finally answered, his voice was steady. He said that humans did not want conquest. They did not want to rule anyone, but they would not allow attacks on their people. Not now, not ever again. He told them that humanity wanted peace, but would protect itself without hesitation. The Dominion leaders agreed. They asked what the humans demanded. Jinsu answered that the Dominion must stop harming weaker species. They must break the system that allowed them to treat other civilizations as tools or resources. They must rebuild their society in a way that respected others. It took some time, but the Dominion leaders accepted the terms. They knew they had no choice if they wanted to survive. Human fleets moved into position, not to destroy the Dominion, but to ensure the ceasefire was real and lasting. On the ground of many worlds, Cathari soldiers lowered their weapons. Human teams helped civilians who had been caught in the fighting. For the first time, the two species looked at each other, not as enemies, but as beings who shared the same galaxy. Weeks later, a new beacon was built. It floated at the edge of the Dominion territory, just like the ancient one. But this one carried a different kind of message. Captain Jinsu stood before the recorder. His uniform was simple, his posture calm. He looked straight into the camera as he spoke. He said that the galaxy was large and full of many kinds of lives. He said that humans were explorers, builders, and dreamers. But he also said that humans protected what they loved. And if anyone tried to destroy what they loved, humans would rise like a storm that could not be escaped. He did not speak with anger. He spoke with certainty. The message was uploaded. The beacon was launched. It drifted into the quiet of space and began sending the recording to anyone who passed by, somewhere far away. Near a hidden Cathari station, a young Cathari technician listened to the message as it played for the first time. She felt a chill run through her, not because the message was a threat, but because it was a promise that humans were a force unlike any other, a promise that balance and peace were possible, a promise that no one should ever again underestimate humanity. Across the galaxy, stories spread. Some were warnings. Some were lessons. Some were admiration for the humans who had shown mercy, even after great harm. But all the stories agreed on one thing. If you ever think of attacking the humans, think again, because you will never escape their wrath.